That's right, Clayton. I'm actually just going to step to the side here. This is the vehicle that was actually turned over. They towed it, they tipped it back over, and now they are hooking it up.
In return for pleading guilty to that second-degree murder charge, Price will spend between 18 and 24 years in prison. Now, this court synopsis in my hand says that Wayne Curry Jr. to help the police department find Christensen, and that's if you see anything from your Ring doorbell cameras, if you have a shed in your backyard, check that shed. Anywhere that a 6-year-old may hide. They say time is of the essence. The NTSB actually just arrived on the scene. There are also a few other federal vehicles as well. The airfield is just behind me here. As you can see, there's a hangar just through the wires and tree line here. To be here tonight until all of the bags are filled. Now, I'm going to keep helping out, but you're going to hear from Kewick and Pravat more coming up on WITN News. Dr. Aaron Piramzadi, and Chief Medical Officer with Star Med earlier today, and he told me that over 900,000 North Carolinians are between that age of 5 and 11.
There were up to 7 people that were critically injured. 2 were fatalities. The names have not been released yet. We're going to continue to give you these updates as we receive them. Continue to follow this on our website and on air. For now, it's Deric Rush. I'm reporting from NC-17 here between Verona and Holly Ridge. Clayton. Dave, you said it, Star said it, I'm feeling it. It's starting to pick up. We're getting some of that wintry, icy mix starting to come down. It's just rain right now. It actually was drizzling earlier this morning around 11, and it died off for a couple of hours, but it's starting to pick up again here. Now, a lot of businesses did close down in Jacksonville and the surrounding area because of the weather. We got plenty of different alerts about closings as we saw on the website, but some places are still open. Restaurants, grocery stores, even some furniture stores are still open. So the name of the game for those workers that are still going to be commuting back and forth on the highway, as we see right now, is driving safety. So you're going to want to practice those safe driving practices. EMS talked to me earlier. They said the best thing to do, especially when you're going over the bridges, is to drive as slow as possible, especially as we talked about earlier with the meteorologist. When you get to some of those elevated temperatures, elevated surfaces, I should say, that's when you have to worry about icing. So we're driving slow over those, and we're also going to make sure that if there's at all possible any reason to stay home, please do so. Don't come out if you don't have to at all. Now, I talked to the EMS director, Norm Bryson. He told me that they are in a limited activation right now to make sure they're on standby if any wrecks or house fires happen from space heaters, and they will be throughout the night. I also talked to Jones Onslow Electric. They're in their storm protocols right now, and they don't have anyone working on activating any electrics or doing any electric repairs right now. They're all on standby in case this picks up and gets any worse. We're going to continue to keep you guys updated on the conditions here in Jacksonville.
That's right, Clayton. Major David McFadden with the sheriff's office told me that one scammer is posing as deputies from the sheriff's office, asking potential victims for money and threatening them with some harsh consequences if they don't pay up. Imagine losing thousands of dollars to a simple but convincing phone call.
My grandma got scammed about $3,500. About a month ago, insurance scam.
Dave, Marquise Weidman lives in North Carolina and was at Travis Scott's Astro World Music Festival this past weekend. He says he's gone to several concerts over the course of his life. He says big crowds are sometimes to be expected, and mosh pits sometimes come with the territory. But after attending the music festival this weekend, he says going to concerts will never be the same.
You had to be a part of chaos at some point in order to really, survive.
Chaos is how Marquise Weidman from Salisbury, North Carolina describes the Astro World Music Festival, where he and his friends who left with scrapes and bruises were some of the lucky ones.
There was this one boy that was at our hotel room when we got back, and he was looking very out of it. And he eventually said that I don't think they're gonna have day 2 tomorrow. And we're like, but what do you mean? And he said that he remembers stepping on a girl's face, I guess trying to get out of the concert, or trying to get out the area he was in. And he said that he doesn't think she was breathing.
Onslow County Deputy Director of Emergency Services Stacy Miles explained the crowd compression she saw as we watched some of the video.
Okay, so some of what you see in the video here that you're showing me is, this is essentially a choke point where you've got more people behind pushing into a small space, so it acts like a funnel. And when the back starts moving and the front isn't moving at the same space is where you get that compression on the front.
The question now is who's to blame?
I think I would say it's easy to put the blame on Travis Scott because he is like the person whose name is attached to this. But I think that the responsibility should be shared amongst several different, types of people at the concert that, was able to make this concert like get off. I think it should, fall on the security. I feel like it should fall on the event planner.
A day of happiness that turned into anything but that.
Just that it's a very dynamic scene.
There's nothing that I've done up to that Friday that could have prepared me for what was happening this past weekend. It's unfortunate. 8 people plus, died, hundreds injured, hundreds in the hospital.
Wyman said that this past weekend won't prevent him from going to future concerts, but it will make him think twice about getting as close as he did at this music festival. He also said that he was glad that he came there with some friends, saying that if he had have gone alone, he fears that something might have gone worse. And that's right, Dave. The sidewalk may be empty now, but earlier there were rows of bikes out front of the Jacksonville Police Department and plenty of smiling faces on people big and small.
I'm following you.
Okay. Families all lined up anxiously at the Jacksonville Police Department, awaiting the chance at some good gifts.
We have a bike for my oldest daughter, so she wants to pick one for her little sister.
Bikes, food, and toys galore given out by the USO and other organizations to help military families in need during the holidays.
We found out about the food insufficiency for the lower levels of the Marines and decided we want to do something about it.
We have personal shoppers to help the families to make sure they can go through it, as well as we'll be stocking throughout the day. We really wanted to give them as much as we possibly could to ensure that each child has a really happy Christmas.
So many options for toys can make for some tough decisions.
You can trade your Play-Doh and get this one instead. You want to put the Play-Doh back and get this? No? Okay, that's cool. I'll let you decide.
An easy decision, though, was picking out a bike.
Yeah, I think it was that one.
Christmas is magic for kids. They really light up when they see the toys, so we're really excited about that.
Being a spouse, I know what it's like. Your military family becomes your family. We will make sure that those 800 service members who are in training that cannot go home, those young service members for Christmas, that they will actually receive presents from the USO.
This helps us make up for a lot of the time we're missing out with our family.
And the girls are, they kind of spoil them, even the gifts they're given that we can use, and every little part, everything counts. And
you need more muscle or you got it?
Troops and the USO both accomplishing their mission.
Merry Christmas!
Now, Megan Boggs with the USO told me the turnout was much better than they thought it would be, and they got a lot of donations and volunteers from service organizations all across the East. One of those, Dave, was the Knights of Columbus, and get this, they came all the way from Southport just to make sure that the USO had extra hands throughout the day.